Hey guys, Michael Rashawn, your Choose to Win Ziegler licensed coach here, your Texas broker with EXP as well. Today we're talking about mindset versus matter. Now, another topic that I'm passionate about is mindset and specifically mindset versus matter. So, matter, what is it? We're going to go into a quick definition of that here in a second and define mindset and then kind of how they link together. So, mindset versus matter. Now, if you were in the military and you went to basic training, you probably heard something along the lines of mind over matter. Now, what they would always say, or at least what I was always told in basic training, is that your brain or your mind's going to quit before your body is done. So basically, you're going to be mentally fatigued quicker than your muscles will actually reach failure. So we used to have to do hundreds and hundreds of push-ups, and you get to a point where you feel like you physically can't do one more push-up. And a lot of times that is just your mind telling you that you're done, like you can't do anymore, but your muscles are actually capable of still going. And as you get into the process, you learn that just through repetition and trial and error, you realize that, oh, I am actually capable of doing more than I thought I was. But it's the belief, it's the mindset behind it. So matter is quite literally any substance that has mass and takes up space. Matter in this definition is going to be us. So essentially our body, our brain, our being. So our physical self, if you will. Now, mindset is a belief that orients the way we handle situations, and it's the way we sort out what is going on and what we should do. So, as it says, it orients how we handle situations. So, whether we've had a good experience or a bad experience, it's going to determine or it's going to play into our mindset and how we handle our current circumstance or the situation when we face it a second time. Now, I want to tell you guys a story that perfectly illustrates this. And to set this up, what is the difference between someone who has a minimum wage job for the last 10 years? So you've been working at a minimum wage job for the last 10 years, you haven't advanced or haven't had any desire to advance, and someone who is independently wealthy. What's the difference between those two people? If you said mindset, then you're catching on. It's absolutely mindset. So there was a guy that was basically, as a kid, he had a learning disability or had a hard time learning. So they labeled it a learning disability. His teachers tried, but he just wasn't picking up the concepts. He had to end up going to special ed. His parents thought he was stupid. They told him as much. And basically, this kid goes through middle school, high school, just thinking that he's really stupid, that he can't learn, that maybe he's a little bit slow, maybe a little bit retarded, whatever the case may be. And he goes through his whole life believing that. So his mindset from a very young age was shaped such that he believes that he is stupid and he can't learn. So when he graduates high school, he ends up taking a job as a night janitor, a minimum wage job, and he just takes it because he has no aspirations. He's been told he's stupid his whole life, so he's believed that. And his mindset is such that he is going to act out on the belief that he's stupid. For him, that looks like a minimum wage job, not trying to aspire to a higher education, not trying to aspire to any kind of greater job or career. He just simply wants to get by. So he gets a minimum wage job and he ends up working this minimum wage job for 10 years. Now, 10 years go by, and this guy hasn't tried to make a move. He hasn't tried to improve himself in any meaningful way because he's lived with the mindset that he is stupid and that he can't learn, so why even try? And then one day he meets another guy, and this guy sees something in the janitor that the janitor didn't even see in himself. So he ends up taking an IQ test. And the janitor, who spent his whole life believing he is stupid, actually has an IQ of 160. Now, if you're not familiar with IQs, it varies a little bit, but generally anything above 140 to 150 is considered in the top 99th percentile. So you'd basically be considered a genius. Albert Einstein, for example, he was considered to have an IQ of between 160 and 190. They didn't have IQ tests at that point in time, but he was considered a genius. So by all accounts, this guy's a statistical genius. Now, he went through school thinking he was stupid because he had a hard time learning, when the reality was, it wasn't that he had a hard time learning. It's just he was functioning on a different level than the people around him. So he was basically had trouble comprehending and trouble learning because he just learned differently. It didn't mean he was stupid. So in the blink of an eye, this guy goes from being stupid and working as a janitor to now being a statistical genius. So just like that, he had a cataclysmic shift in his mindset. And once that mindset shifted, he started to believe in himself. He started to see himself differently. He started to see himself as smart and he acted accordingly. And that's a big thing, guys, is that our actions are going to follow our mindset, not the other way around. So fast forward a few years, and this guy now has multiple patents. He's made millions and millions of dollars off these patents, and he's independently wealthy. This is the same guy that spent 10 years as a janitor because he was stupid. And that is why mindset is so important, because our mindset can help us spot opportunities, but our mindset can also trap us in self-defeating cycles. And for this guy, he spent 10 years working as a janitor because he was stuck in that self-defeating cycle. I'm stupid, I can't learn, and therefore I'm not going to try. I'm going to keep my minimum wage job and I'm going to have no aspirations so I can't be disappointed. Until one day he unlocked the potential and the greatness that was always there. It's not like he woke up one day and just became a genius or had a brain swap and all of a sudden he's much smarter. No, it's the same exact person that was mopping floors as a janitor that's now independently wealthy. The only thing that changed was his mindset. And when his mindset shifted, it opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And there was opportunities that have always been there, but he wasn't able to see them because of the way he saw himself. And I can relate to this because I've spent probably the majority of my life doing a job or doing jobs that other people told me I should do. So from being an EMT to going to nursing school to becoming a radiology tech. Now, yes, I got to help people with those things, but that was never anything I was passionate about. It's not anything that I really wanted to do. But I also have a history of sexual abuse. I was sexually abused when I was 10. So I had been trapped in this self-defeating cycle because I had never dealt with that. And until I was in my 30s, I never even told another human person. So the only two people in the world that knew I was abused was myself and my abuser. And I spent 20 years living with that. And that caused me to go into this self-defeating cycle that I had very minimal aspirations. I knew I didn't like my work, but I also felt like I didn't deserve to be happy or to deserve to have a job that made me truly happy, that I was fulfilled at. So I stayed in the same cycle of not pursuing my dreams, uh, turning to drinking and alcohol. Not something I'm proud of, but again, that's what a self-defeating cycle can do. There was always opportunities there. There was always opportunities around me, but I couldn't see them because of my mindset was so limited. So what part does our brain play in all this? Now, our brain is connected to every cell in our body. So quite literally, by affecting your brain or by your brain being there, you're connecting and you're affecting every cell in our body. Now, logic for some people would say that you can't control our brain, that our brain is independent and it does what it wants and you have no control over it. The reality is, though, that that's not true. Now, your brain is controlled by your mindset. So the actions your body takes, the actions that you are going to do are a result of your mindset. So if you change your mindset, you can quite literally change your brain, which will change and affect every cell in your body. So that's why it's very important that we monitor and are careful of our mental input. So the mental input, what you choose to think about determines everything about how we live. Now, again, that's all tied to our mindset. This guy, when he was a little kid, started receiving negative input and he's stupid. He can't learn. He's got a learning disability. So that's what he was dwelling on. That's what he was thinking about. And that in turn affected how he lived his life and had no aspirations and how he just took that minimum wage job and was perfectly fine there because that was all that he was capable of, and that's what his mindset told him. Now, on the flip side, you may have a negative mindset, but that doesn't mean you're stuck there. You may have a positive mindset. That doesn't mean you can stop maintaining it and just forever coast on the positive mindset that you have right now. No, mental input is going to determine that. So we have the ability to change a bad mindset, but we also have the ability to lose a good mindset. That's why it's important. And Zig Ziglar says, motivation is like showering. You need it every day. Basically, it wears off. Like if you don't shower for a week, you're going to stink. If you don't stay motivated, if you don't put mental input in, whether that's books, podcasts, relationships, whatever it may look like for you. It's important that you monitor and that you control as much as you're able to the input that you allow in. So, my encouragement to you guys would be that this last slide here, that you should never underestimate how brilliant you are and the fact that you're only limited by how you see yourself. So, what that means to me and what that really resonates with me is that everybody out there has greatness inside of them. Just like this guy that went from being a janitor to a genius overnight, quite literally, even though nothing changed, he had just underestimated how brilliant he was, and he was limiting himself because of the way he saw himself. So, I know without even knowing you, I've never met most of you, and maybe I never will, but my words of encouragement to you would be that you have greatness inside of you, that you are capable of achieving great things if you will allow yourself to believe. Now, I don't know you and I don't need to know that you are capable of great things if you will change your mindset. Now, it may not be quick, it may not be easy, it may not even be painless, but I can promise you that if you are consistent and you try, you will have results. You cannot change your input and allow your mindset to change and not see a positive reaction, because everything that we do is controlled by our mind, and therefore our brain takes orders from our mindset. So we're going to live out the reality of how we see ourselves. So that puts you in the driver's seat, it puts you in control. And whatever happened yesterday, whatever has happened in the past, that's in the past. You can't control that and you can't change it, but you can change starting right now, today, and what happens to you in the future. And that would be my encouragement, guys, is whatever you've been up against, whatever you've experienced, maybe it's not going to be easy to get over, but I am living proof that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm sitting here talking to you guys, living out my dream after spending 20 years in jobs that I don't like. So I wish I could have done this a long time ago. I wish I would have done this a long time ago because it would have saved me a lot of heartache. But at the same time, then I wouldn't have the background and I wouldn't have the experiences that I have had. So I don't want you guys to have to go through that mistakes. I don't want you guys to have to spend 20 years in a job you don't like to finally find something that you're passionate about. I want you to start changing your mindset today so that you can have a better tomorrow. Again, guys, thanks for listening. Hope this was insightful. And again, if you are interested in sitting down one-on-one, we can jump on a Zoom call. I'd love to have a strategy session with anybody that's interested. And just take a dive into who you are as a person, maybe some limiting beliefs that you have, and then just kind of see what the best path forward is for you and help you start to live out your dreams. If you're interested in joining EXP or getting some more information on that, give me a call, shoot me a text. I would love to have you as part of the team here, and look forward to catching you guys later. All the contact information is on the next slide. Don't forget to like and subscribe.